not insensitive. I get it. Many Kenyans, indeed most Kenyans, don't like listening to the president anymore. I get that. There was an interview with CNN International yesterday where the chief international anchor, Christiane Amanpour herself, hosted Ruto and asked him some very direct questions, and he answered none of them, as usual. Now, I have a confession to make. You see, an analyst is not supposed to be emotional. Any serious political analyst is supposed to listen to everything without my feelings. But I have to confess, it is very hard work. It is emotional abuse to listen to some things. Okay? So, I'm with you. Okay, although I'm trying very hard. Liwe liwalo, I have to overcome my emotions, while understanding these are the usual occupational hazards. Not the usual. Some occupational hazards I have to encounter in my profession. Anyway, can you please bear with me, because there are a few things which came out of this interview that I want us to take note of. Yeah, that we cannot afford to miss. Yeah, if we want to remain very well informed on what the government of William Samoei Ruto is thinking. Okay? Now, the first question was very direct. Okay? Everybody watched, Mr. President, as events unfolded in Kenya. I'm paraphrasing. You have a crippling debt in Kenya, and you thought you could fix it with taxes, Mr. President. But it backfired. There are so many protesters who were killed by the police. Now, do you think you made a mistake sending out troops against unarmed protesters? That was the first question. And the answer, very predictable, yeah, was kizungu mingi, maneno mingi. Okay? But I caught a few phrases from the president that maybe we should look at. He said that Kenya is a robustly democratic country. Okay? And that we even have organizations like IPOA, the Independent Policing Authority, yeah, to check policemen who use excessive force. Now, to date, has any policeman faced the consequences of their actions during the demonstrations? Let alone the Gen Z demonstrations. Let us go back to the Azimio demonstrations where people also killed. Has any security officer faced the consequences? No, of course not. But that was nothing for me. The real clincher was when Ruto told the world that Kenya is now stable. Inflation has gone down from 9% to 4.3%. Aye? Which country is that? So that I rushed there immediately. And the mother of all clinchers was when Ruto told the world that actually the protests, the Gen Z protests, were mainly caused by fake news and misinformation. And therefore, going forward, his government is being careful to inform people. Now, you know, a picture speaks 1,000 words. On your screens right now, you can see the reaction of Kenyans to that entire interview. Not just the snippets I have shared with you. There's another mystery here. In case you didn't know, it is not these news organizations that look for these people. No! More often than not, it is the publicity department of some people who looks for these people. Hey, President Ruto is available for an interview. Are you interested? That kind of thing. And in any case, even if the news organization approaches you first, you can politely decline. No, I'm too busy working for my people. Not now, at a future date, etc., etc. But in the case of President Ruto, he loves these things. And so my question is, why look for trouble? Why? Why not just keep quiet? Why go in front of CNN and say things that you know very well are going to really upset Kenyans? Not only Kenyans back home, but even Kenyans there in that foreign country where you are. Because they're still Kenyans. The picture you see on your screens right now is the reaction of a vast majority of Kenyans to this interview and to a lot of things that President William Samoei Ruto has done. You know, sometimes I wonder whether our president is aware of the fact that he is a politician and that he is in politics. For the simple reason, if you're in politics, there is a certain way you behave. If you're in politics, the reaction of your people to what you do matters. And this is not just in a democracy. Even in the old days, kings would do things, only after asking the advisors, what do you think the reaction of the people is going to be? Hey boss, this is politics. However, the way Ruto behaves, it's like he's not in politics. It is like Kenya is a corporation, a company, a limited company, and is the chief executive officer. Upende, usipende. That is how the man behaves. And really, when you look at it deeply, this is a mystery. We have never, ever, even in the worst, darkest days of the Moi regime, Moi never ever pulled moves like this one. Never ever. But for the man from Sugoi, this is very normal. Ni kama kunywa maji. Now, there is also something else Ruto said. Of course, he was not answering any question. He was just talking. It would seem that Ruto, when a question is asked, the first thing he'll do is to dodge that question, go to the related topic close to what was being asked, but circle around and never, ever, ever answer that question. So one of the things that came up, I believe he was trying to explain how the country is going to come back from crippling debt, how we're going to get our economy going. He mentioned that the government is trying to mobilize domestic resources. Now, bila kizungumingi, what that means, or the equivalent of that, is that people go into a village, and this village is called Kenya, and they rob that village, and they empty the pockets of everybody in that village. You pick up people and turn them upside down, make sure there is not even a single coin left in their pockets. And then when they're done, and CNN come for an interview, and they ask them, what next? Because it seems you have nowhere else to go except to this Kenyan village and to the Kenyan people. So what next? They respond, we're going to mobilize domestic resources. From where? You've taken all the cows, you've taken all the goats and the chickens, etc., etc. But we can look at this from a different angle. It may have been a coded message, because some things cannot be said in public. It may have been a coded message suggesting the mobilization of domestic resources which are currently not in the village called Kenya. They are outside Kenya. And this is where the story of Adani comes in. My friends, if you've not yet taken in my special report, I suggest that you take full advantage, because now we're in the kipindi cha lala salama, and I believe you can see details on your screens. If you want to be shocked, if you want to be breathless, and get some information that will make your ears ring, make sure you don't miss this opportunity. And for that, you will need to move very quickly. The details of how you can get this valuable video special report are also repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube, and also in the comments area. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.